Shame. 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 Shame.
Hi guys, welcome to Para Women Radio. I'm Amy. We've always joked here that about giving Gypsy Rose Blanchard a Game of Thrones style bell ringing scene and yelling shame, shame, shame if we ever saw her in public, of course. Today, we are secretly hoping someone will actually do this at her book signing, but not literally throwing stuff at her, just the bell ringing and the shame calling. Since we can't be there in person, we will be dissecting the ridiculous interview she gave with teen mom Kaylin Lowry on Almost Famous or Barely Famous. I'm sure we will be ringing the shame bell like crazy today. So let's dive into it on this Friday the 13th day of Livemas on the Power Network. And it's Mercury retrograde, so it's a wind and a swing and a shame. Shame. Special shout out to my replay crew and my dragonflies. Do you believe in Friday the 13th bad luck nonsense? Welcome to Para Women Radio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar again. Words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I would steal them and fly away with you for a while. Hearing the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day. Here in the falling deep into you.
Here in the blue, I'm so happy to be here with you on this Friday the 13th. It's so strange that this is all happening on the Friday the 13th, but here we have it. I see people in chat, and my moderators, I don't think is going to be here. I haven't heard from the other, and another is going to be late. So I'm going to be like kind of trying to do both things at once. So, oh, Heavenly, I didn't think you'd be here, honey. Okay, I'm so happy you're here. Okay, guys, we have a moderator. But I'm still going to come through and say hi to Computer Chick Productions. Hi, Yellow Butterfly 3. Hi, Kim. And hi, if I missed anybody else, hi to everybody. So we have some good news. Just before we went live, I did get a lead on somebody that is at the book signing. I got their email. They said they're interested in coming on while they're at the live. So I did email them, and I also gave them my private number to text me if they wanted to. And even if we don't catch them during this live, we'll come on, we'll come if they want to do it like during the protest, because I think the protest isn't for another like 3 or 4 hours, isn't it? I wanted to come on before because I didn't think I was going to be able to reach anybody. And then I reached somebody just at the end, and I'm not complaining because I'd be very happy to do a live from the protest with somebody. So let's all keep our fingers and toes crossed that happens. This is, let me get this up. Before we get started, if we could just start that algorithm dance party that I like to do, just start warming up your fingers and dancing them right up to the hearts and thumbs up button. Today, we're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hi, everyone. So if you could just give me a thumbs up or hearts or stars or however you do it on the platform you're on, it's just really, really appreciated. So, and I think somebody put this name in the chat, but Justice Voice is there. Let's take a quick look at this person. I also know that Pink Pony is there, and we've corresponded with, but I'm missing one. I think it's Pink Pony Boy or something like that, but Pink Pony something is there. And they are actually going to come on our live tomorrow and we're going to do an interview, and they're going to tell us their experiences, what it was like. So we're going to be covering this. We're not as big as some channels, but we try our best here. So, but in the meanwhile, let me show you Justice Voice 83s.
Hi guys, I hope you can hear me okay. I came to New Orleans 2 days ago, and I am right now in the building where Garden District Bookstore is, and where Gypsy Rose Blanchard will be doing her book signing. There's also going to be the protest as well as the vigil for Dee Dee here as well. And I got here about 10 o'clock. And as of right now, which is about 12:30, I believe, there is no one here, no one at all. And I will be sending more videos. I unfortunately can't go live. That's why I'm filming this to let you guys know, because I need to have my 1,000 followers. But
well, maybe hopefully we can get her up. I'm not even up to 1,000 over on TikTok, but we can certainly help her. So that is who we're going to hopefully be talking to. The book signing I see is at 6:30 Central Time, which would be 7:30 my time Eastern. So yeah, it's not for a little while longer. I don't know when the vigil or anything like that is, what time any of that is, but we'll see what we can do to keep you informed. And if any of you want to help keep me informed, you can email me at parawomenradio@gmail.com. And the women is plural, so it's WOMEN. So parawomenradio@gmail.com. Or if you see one of my mods out and about, I have Heavenly, Chris C, and Laura Lynn. If you see any of them out and about across the interwebs, they can get in touch with me really quickly too. So okay, so let me see what you guys are saying in chat. To all that are at the signing, make sure you have cell phone battery backups, and if need, a stationary video camera. Video everything that Gypshit does, or Krusty. Yeah, just make sure you can capture it all, and also non-violence. Just use your voices so that nothing gets out of hand, to show that because this would be the perfect script for her new series, the new season, the bullying season. I mean, if somebody comes out there and really bullies her, I mean, isn't this the perfect setup for her next season of Life After Lockup? So, all right, so let's actually go in and talk about the Teen Mom while we're waiting for more information about the book signing. But that's what we're working on, and we'll get it done. I'm super excited about it. So I have a feeling like we're going to be able to bring this to you guys. So Teen Mom. I have this, I need to confess. I had a a shameful little addiction and might still have a slight one to reality TV. And I loved reality TV hit, and I was like, yes, yes, please, yes, ma'am, more. I'll take it. And the first reality TV show that I remember watching was on MTV, and it was The Real World. And I remember it because I was in college and it popped on, and my friend was like, "Oh, hey, there's this new show on. You should watch it." And I was at her house for the weekend, and I was sitting there watching it, and Andre Como pops up, and that's a guy that I went to high school with. And you're not famous until someone claims to have sat next to you in high school. Junie, seriously, you were very quiet. You didn't say a word. Not a peep. That's my little green cheek. Don't ever say you want a bird that talks, because you'll get what you want, and then you have one that will tells you to stop it. That will talk all through your whole life. You can only do lives at night without him. Right? I'm telling on you. Wakes up at 4 a.m., then wants to go to bed at 4 p.m. It's on a horrible schedule. Yeah. Am I going to have to put you in the other room? We'll see. So Andre Como was in The Real World, and he was like the guy with the really long hair. I don't know if anybody remembers that show, but I'm a Gen Xer. So there it is right there on the table. But yes, I watched Teen Mom. And I remember when that show came out and I had to watch it. Well, I was also okay. Now I'm going to justify it, but I was also a social worker, you guys, and so I watched Intervention. I watched Teen Mom. I watched the ones that had the psychology spin to it. But so I remember Kaylin, and I remember really liking her. She was one of the ones that I liked, and her story stuck with me, and she is kind of parlayed her whole thing into a career, this whole Teen Mom thing into a career. I was over, oops, that's not the one I wanted, but I was over on Instagram, and I realized that I don't have Gypsy Rose blocked over on Instagram yet. I'm doing the blackout where I blocked her on all of the socials, because I don't want to go to her channel and mistakenly give her even a dime, but I did here. So then I thought, well, I'm going to show it to you guys then. I'm here, I'm going to show it to you, but that's for a little later. This is Kale Lowry's page. And this is her from Teen Mom. And this is the interview that we're going to go over today. I am realizing that I think this is, we're only going to watch bits and pieces of it, because I think it's behind a paywall. I'm not sure. It is out there on the internet, and so it's out there for fair play use. But out of we do things a little differently here. Everything that we watch on my channel, I'll speed up, or I'll slow down, or I'll talk over it, or we won't watch it all, or I won't read it all. But I put the link for everything that we view down in the YouTube show notes. And we do this for fair play use. And that's not the definition of fair play use. I don't have to do any of that. I could just like play it and just sit there on screen and watch it with you. But that's not what I consider fair play use. Fair play use is like adding some content to it, changing it so that it makes it new and interesting and fresh. And I also don't play it all so that you will go over to the creator's channel that I find it from. Like kind of like just making it like sweet and juicy for you so that it drives them over to that channel's traffic. But this is the interview. We're going to watch probably about 15-20 minutes of it. It is like an hour long interview. If later I find that it's just out there, then we'll come back and we'll rewatch it. But I'm not about taking money from anybody. Oops. I guess it'll help if I add it. There you go. Hold on.
And I'm also sucking on a baby bottle to give me comfort. She would give me what we call a cocktail. And so that would be a mixture of oxycodone and Xanax together. And it put me in a state of numbness. And I liked being there.
Why now? Why are we writing a book now?
This is simply a book of hope.
Your truth is your truth. And I feel like at the end of the day, he can't dispute what your perception of any of this was.
Because I would be in trouble for walking even inside the house.
Oh, wow.
To the ones that are like, well, you knew you could walk the whole time. Why don't you just get up and run away? But they don't understand the mental prison that is abuse. I didn't realize that she would be branded a villain after that.
Is that something that is exclusive to this book?
It is. It's not something that I really tell everybody or talk about. I never submitted, I guess you can say, fully to the idea that this was going to be my life. I think I romanticized the idea of, being my man's savior just as much as he was mine.
Right.
So it was like the Beauty and the Beast syndrome.
Based on what I read in this book was that he was already having all types of very, very violent fantasies prior to even meeting you.
Correct. In my opinion, whether it was conscious or not, I feel like maybe we manipulated each other.
Okay, so I feel like these interviews are really good for us because they are what is going to cook Miss Gypsy Rose. I also have to say that I do believe that Dee Dee Blanchard was abusive. Not unalive yourself, her abusive, but I don't think I see a lot of people say that Dee Dee was such a good mom. But if Dee Dee were alive and we were saying all the stuff that Dee Dee did, and I don't think everything's a lie. I don't. Teaching your daughter how to grift and winning her these free contests by doing illegal things, by portraying this sick child, is not a good mom to me. But everybody is good and everybody's bad, I believe. And everybody there's good and everybody there's bad. It just depends on what we foster. And so I think it's so hard to decide what's a lie and what's truth. And it's such a hot topic. But over here, we are just like accepting. And if somebody has disagrees with you, it's okay to disagree. That's the spice of life. We don't have to call them names if they disagree. It's just the spice of life. And either you try to understand why we're coming from where we're coming, or you don't. But it's a conversation, and this is a good conversation to have. And I do have a psych-soc background. And so I do recognize that some of this Gypsy was abused, and also Gypsy became the abuser. It's a dynamic that not everybody was all bad and not everybody was all good, but a horrible thing came from it, and Gypsy Rose should not be earning money off of it. So, all right, here we go. Sorry. So over on Straight Out of Context channel, she has 3 uploads. The Gypsy Rose exclusive, the Admits the Chromosome Disorder. That was the one. This is the episode that I pulled where you saw, I don't know if you saw my videos from today where she was talking about Dee Dee and the substance abuse. And she is now saying that Dee Dee gave her the drugs and did the substances with her. So from that video, we're going to watch the short 3-minute one that we did, and then but like I said, I will put the link for everything down in the description and YouTube description and show notes. And if you want to go down and watch it on your own, completely understand. All right. So this is her talking about Dee Dee and the substance abuse.
I don't want to call it an addiction because I don't necessarily think that you called it an addiction. Do you think that you had an addiction?
I absolutely do think that it was an addiction to painkillers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So by accident, or did you, like, were you already taking them and you felt the effects, and so you eventually, got to a point where you were abusing them, or do you think that it was more by accident?
It was originally my first exposure was from pain medication from after having surgery.
Right.
And so that was accidental. So it started off with, okay, they prescribed me this pain medicine. Oh, it makes me feel different. It makes me feel kind of numb. And so after that point, that's when I slowly started to take more and more and more and slowly abused it.
Okay. And your mom was aware of it, but didn't say anything?
Correct.
Because I think that's what I read in the book, and I was shocked by that.
Correct.
But
there is a very interesting conversation about this video going on over on TikTok, and I'm gonna pull you right over there right after this and show you some of the conversation that's being had. Some people are picking up things that I thought I heard, but I was just trying to listen, but people are picking up some other substances that she mentioned that she started to say and then she stopped saying.
That sort of fell into subconscious or conscious plan of, her kind of keeping you close. It sort of helped keep you there, right?
Right.
That's so interesting. I always wonder with addiction, my mom's an addict and an alcoholic, and so I always wonder how sort of that can happen.
It's hard.
I remember Kaylin's story with her mother being an addict, and it was so heart-wrenching. I mean, she was 16 years old, living with her boyfriend. Her mother, I think she has alcohol addict. Well, anyway, she was an addict. And Kaylin really has gone through it with her family and addiction.
Whenever you have someone, there's nobody there to tell you to stop or to pull you away from the edge, but instead encourage. So my mom was on pain medication herself, as well as Xanax. And so she would give me what we call a cocktail. And so that would be a mixture of oxycodone and Xanax together. So
you hear that right there, what she was about to say? Let me pop it back really quick. Put your listening ears on and let's see if you can hear it.
And Xanax together.
I didn't pop it back far enough. Here we go.
And Xanax.
Did you hear it? Bop.
A mixture of oxycodone and Xanax.
What was she about to say? What's the major medication out there that starts with an F? Can't say it, but I think that you might be able to envision it. Christine says, how many teens are going to get addicted to their mother's medications or Zanny the nanny? How many kids are going to unalive their mother over Christmas break for being told no, right? It's just this. That's why I do it, because I worry. We have girls who commit crime, thanks to Gypsy Rose, and we have been doing teens that are unaliving their family, and it's all thanks to Gypsy Rose. We're covering matricide here on Parawoman Radio. Thanks, Gypsy Rose. Yeah, stop it. Oh, so let's go back.
together. So,
And what would that do? Would it put you to sleep or what?
yes, I mean, downers for sure. I've never tried uppers, but I have had downers, and it put me in a state of numbness. And I liked being there.
And so would you spend a lot of time in that state of mind, you think?
Yes.
I know at one point you talked about how you took the last of your mom's pills and then you guys had to go file a police report in order to get a refill because that was the only way that you could get a refill on the narcotics.
Correct.
When you think
So that tells me that, and Junie, that tells me that Dee Dee needed her pain medications if she needed to file a report to get more meds, because if she, was just taking her medications for when she has pain, there wouldn't be a huge need if you ran out of pain medications. But then at the same sense, it tells me that Dee Dee probably was sharing her, or at least at the very least knew that Gypsy was taking these medications, because if you need these medications for pain reasons, then when you don't have enough, or when your supply is getting lower than it should. So the codependency in this relationship was just horrible. And I'm not going to say this over and over again, but I just want to make it clear. It was never unalive her horrible. The abuse was never to the point where I can ever justify unaliving her, but the abuse was there, in my opinion. So let me see what you guys are saying. Or maybe she was addicted to. Well, Gypsy said that her mother wasn't addicted, that she needed her pain, that her mother actually needed those pain medications because of the car accident that they were in. Thank you so much, Christine, for your super sticker. I have a feeling I'm going to need it, because I have a feeling that I'm going to get demonetized for the subject matter here. So that's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know not everybody agrees with me that there was abuse, but it's okay. You don't have to agree with me, and I don't have to agree with you. But my senses are that there were some, but never unalive her enough. Okay, so and because I don't know what Gypsy's lying about, because I don't think Gypsy anchors her lies in truth. So there's truth somewhere in here, but I can't, she lies so much that it's getting to the point where I can't, I got no senses. I got no senses. I can usually, use my, kind of use my training with my, I call myself the guessing psychic, where, I'm 50% right, so I can use my psychic guessing skills for a lot of these cases, but for this, it's just like,
think about that now, how do you feel?
I mean, I definitely feel a lot of regrets, because that's, not behavior that I would ever condone or am proud of. But it does put it in perspective as to like what mind frame I was in.
Yeah. I mean, I just, but as a mom, you're about to be a mom.
Yes.
So it's like, could you even imagine like helping yourself and your daughter do something like that?
No, I would never. Like, I can't imagine. Like,
I would be so curious to know, if she was here today, like where her mind was at in that moment. Because did she need them at that point, or do you think
she did need them? We were in a car accident in 2001, and it left her with an injured leg.
Okay.
And her leg had never healed back fully.
Right.
So she still had like the pins, screws, and plates and hardware to kind of keep her leg in place. And she suffered from daily pain. I won't say that she abused them.
That was my next question. Okay.
She didn't abuse them. I think she took them as prescribed.
Okay. I think, and I don't know this for sure. I'm not an.
I think that is why I think that Gypsy, it's an insult. I agree. It is an insult, because if she was taking that cocktail, she would be heavily addicted, and she wouldn't have been even sleeping on that couch. She wouldn't have been sleeping on that couch because I had back surgery. And so I had to do the whole pain thing, the whole pain medication. And I seriously thought I was going to have to be on them for the rest of my life. And my life was turning into hell because so I had the back surgery and I was having tons of pain before the back surgery. And then I got put on the patch. We'll just call it the patch before the surgery. And then that just wasn't working. So then I got put on some other medications to go with the patch. And then it was just a game of it had to be increased more and more and more and more. And, and if I increased it on my own, then I was out without a medication for a day or two. It was pure torture. It was Hades. And so I just, I wanted off that horrible merry-go-round, because I was even doing doctor consults where they were talking about putting a pain pump in my spine so that, I would have to go to a doctor and they would fill it. And, and I was slowly, my life was just disintegrating. I was bedbound, and the pain was just there all the time. And they were talking to me about rebound pain. Anyway, I'm not going to go on that whole tangent, but it was hell. It was hell. So yes, it is an insult, because she would not have looked as fresh and crisp as she did laying there on that fishy couch. So 100%.
I'm not an expert, but I would guess that it probably has a different effect.
And I am no longer on those type of medications. I transitioned off of all of those. It took me about a year to transition. I went from that to the medical watering the grass type of thing and microdosing, and my life has gotten so much better. I still have pain issues, but I have learned to deal with the pain in a healthier way. And my mental health is getting better, because the more my pain tanked, the more my mental health tanked. And then the more my mental health tanked, the more my pain, it was like a circle, a dance that I just like. So, yeah, so I get it. I understand. I know that there are a lot of us out there that have had substance. We won't even call it addiction, because my body was addicted to it. But I don't know. I was definitely addicted to it. My body was definitely addicted to it. But thankfully, my mind hadn't taken hold of my mind quite. I knew I wanted off of that roller coaster. So I just don't see how she if she was on that cocktail, there is just no way.
On you as a child, you were young and you didn't necessarily need them, so it's going to have a different effect than someone who's actually using them as needed.
Correct. And dosage makes a big difference.
Right.
I was up around 90 pounds.
Oh wow.
Pounds.
And so she was probably double your height and weight,
right,
or whatever. So that's
dosage does make a difference.
Coming off medications is no laughing joke. Even coming off of some psych meds are no laughing joke. And I'm not suggesting anyone do this. I'm just saying this is my experience. This is all my opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. But if you're on medications that are for pain, you might want to and they're not working anymore, you do have to consider the rebound pain. And I can tell you that I feel like I'm a success story. So, and I'm like still a work in progress. And I I was trying to think today. I haven't taken something for pain. And also I was like in the hospital repeatedly. Like I was in the hospital over 30 times for, I had pulmonary embolisms. I had back surgery. I have these autoimmune issues that make it so I can't walk sometimes. So I've got a lot of issues, but my issues got worse on the medications. But there is a way if you need them for pain. There is a way, you guys. I just urge you to never give up trying to find that way, because I wanted to give up, and I'm so happy I did not give up. And you guys are a big reason why I didn't give up. I wanted to give up, but I wanted to do this show. I wanted to do Para Women Radio. So yeah. I saw some people in the chat saying that they're working on coming off of pain medication. And I just want to say that you can do it. Make sure you do it with your doctor. But you can do it. You can absolutely do it. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's pop over on TikTok and I will show you. We're over here on TikTok and I put up this video and there is some conversation going on. Like people are saying that it's so sad that her mom did all she did to her all her life. And I want to show that everybody's opinions welcomed. I'm not going to say anything because that's her opinion. With all that's out there, I'm not going to. I've learned to pick my battles, and that's not a battle that I'm going to even try to pick. And I just think that we should all allow people to have their opinions, because your opinion doesn't have to be my opinion. And I'm not thought policing you. I'm just bringing you information and then you decide what you want with it. And that's what I want for me. Don't tell me what to think or feel, because 9 times out of 10, that's going to make me resist. If anything, I'm going to resist the truth until I finally can't do it anymore. And then I'm going to be like, damn it, if I'd only, but like the thing is I always have to come to things on my own time. So they're out there. They know what's going on. They're either a troll or they really just haven't gotten it yet. The stories keep getting bigger. Coming soon, Gypsy Rose's second book, titled Taking Another Stand. And I'm picking up that people are not liking Cal, but I don't know much about her to say anything. I just remember her from back in the Teen Mom day. She's made a lot of bad choices, but I've made a lot of bad choices. Hopefully she's learning and growing. What is happening? Why are they even in the same room? And this person says, Cal's business is podcasts. They invite people on the podcast to interview. She's been doing podcasts for years. That's how she makes her money. Gypsy Rose was invited to the podcast to be interviewed. This person says it was rhetorical. Previously, she said she stole the meds. Now her mom was aware. And I replied, and this is... her tax report was negative when she was arrested. I saw somebody say that, and I also saw someone say that Dee Dee's toxicology was negative too, wasn't it? Or am I wrong about that? She can't help her lies. She said she was probably double her weight and height. That was a weird thing to say. So somebody also pointed out that now if Gypsy Rose ever needs pain medication, she's like kind of shot herself in the foot, because they're not going to give her pain meds. They're going to say, here's some Tylenol for you, sweetie. And they will, because I was prescribed pain medications. I was prescribed it. And if I had to go into the hospital for anything, I was treated like an addict and I was being prescribed it. So it's a fine line that people that take medication walk. And it's a line that I'm really glad that I don't have to walk anymore, on that at least. But we are over on TikTok, by the way. I don't know how long we'll be here because of the fact I think there is going to be the band. But we're over here if you want to find us over on TikTok. I don't post a whole lot because Gypsy Rose gets a lot taken down over on TikTok. She really does. It's a fine line you walk over on TikTok. All right, so let's go back into the podcast. I'm going to let you guys pick which one you want us to look at next. We can look at Gypsy Rose exclusive interview part 3, admits ... Or we can look at Gypsy Rose exclusive part 2, admits to bottle sucking. Which one are you guys interested in? I'll come over and chat while you guys are deciding. Oh, do we have some people in Florida? Team Florida here by way of Michigan. She's a Team Mom star first. Yeah, she's Team Mom. Oh, thank you so much, Main Chick Carrie. I just found you over on TikTok, by the way. Thank you so much. Your support means a lot to me, honey. All of your support means a lot to me. I'm going to take a quick break while you guys are deciding. And have you guys heard about the dragonflies on Pair Women Radio? Did you know that the dragonflies have landed on Pair Women Radio? What the heck am I talking about on Pair Women Radio? Here, take a look. And if you're not subscribed, why are you not subscribed? I would really, really, really love to have you as a power subscriber. If you really like my content, be sure to become a dragonfly, and that's our membership, and it's $2.99 a month. I release all my videos early. We have special emojis over in the chat room. I kind of share things ahead of time with my dragonflies, and I go live sometimes just for the dragonflies. It's a way that I can support you guys and give you more content, and it's a way for you to support our channel. It's $2.99 a month, and I would love to have you. And if you're not subscribed, okay. And the mods will have the link up in the. Ooh, I'm losing my words talking about all this, all my medications. When I had my brain bleed, that's another thing. I had a stroke a few years ago too. I lose my words. That's the worst thing of everything that's happened to me is my words, losing common words. I lose. I'll be talking and it's my hugest fear of segueing because I'll literally forget what I'm saying in mid-sentence. I hate it. And people make jokes and they're like, oh, it's all about getting older. Okay, yeah, I'm getting older and I had a brain bleed, so it's twice as bad. Anyway, what have you guys decided which one you want to take a peek at? Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she did admit to the chromosome disorder, but of course brushed it off. Well, let's do the bottle sucking one because that does interest me.
All at the time,
And I will put the link for all of these down in the description and the YouTube show notes for you guys. And yeah. But what I was trying to say was the link to the dragonflies is down in it'll be in the show notes, and it also is in chat. So this is a part 2 exclusive. She admits to bottle sucking in this part. This is from Kaylin Lowry's podcast, and an update. I am still waiting to hear from we are waiting to hear from somebody that is going to the protest. Hopefully we will be able to link with them at the protest and be able to bring you the protest. I am waiting. Oh my gosh, drink every time I say protest. I'm waiting to hear back from them, and we will go live a second time if we're able to do that. So still waiting on that. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. We're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch today. So hi, everyone.
It's like I was not mature enough to be a father yet.
Yeah, I mean, 17. What 17-year-old is?
Right.
I mean, I know people in their 20s that are not. I wasn't ready, and I had 3 kids before I was 25, so I completely understand that. You talk about how close you and your mom were. You were talking about the nicknames that you guys went by, Baby and Honey, right? And talking about bathing and sleeping together. Did you ever feel like the relationship was in enmeshment?
I feel like she's not supposed to be able to make money off of her crime. And I've always heard it that she does it because she doesn't talk about her mom in the sense. But now this whole book is about her mom. But is it because she doesn't talk about the crime itself? Is that it? And I've also heard she's got some money in a trust, and that's somehow how she dances around it. But man, this whole book is like trashing Dee Dee, and her whole, interviews were trashing Ryan. And where's Ken? Where's Ken? He's carrying the baby.
It was. I really felt that way. I also, like, when I was little, my mom was like my best friend.
Yeah.
And that's what I chalked it up to. I didn't go to school. So growing up around other kids was very rare. There may have been the neighborhood kids, my cousins, but few and far between interaction with kids my age. And so when I was little, my stuffed animals, my Barbie dolls, my mom was my
social
everything,
life.
my social life.
Yeah.
So that's what I grew up knowing. And then as I got older, I felt it was almost like being sheltered, but also taking the part of a partner or spouse in a marriage. So all of her stress would be shared to me.
Right.
And I was kind of expected to carry all of this and be that person that she needed me to be.
Right. So you were the daughter, the friend, the part.
So I do see this. I do see Dee Dee treating Gypsy more as her partner, not as her daughter, more as a friend, not as a daughter. I see this is, like I said, she anchors all her lies into some truth. So I think there's some truth here. Also, I wanted to tell you, I've decided that this year we're going to be doing the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case as our 24-hour live that we do from New Year's Eve at 12 noon until New Year's Day at 12 or 12 noon. Yeah, so 12 to 12. We're going to be covering the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. I'm starting to book some guests, and we will be covering the Gypsy Rose book. We'll be, I've secured some people that had put the book up on their channel. They said it was okay if we linked for them from it. So that night, during the night, we will be doing the live stream and the book will be playing. So this is the live. So come over and bookmark it, ring the bell, and make sure that you come and join us on New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, because I mean, what else do you have to do?
Everything.
All of the things from a really, really young age.
Yeah, it's like having a bad marriage without the sexual part of it.
And how do you feel about that now? Do you feel like you'll know sort of where the boundaries are for your daughter when she's born?
Absolutely. Like, I feel like I don't think there's anything wrong with a close relationship with your parent or your daughter.
Right.
But there's a line.
Yeah.
Yes, I am getting word from people that from the Bayou, people that don't want to be identified, but Gypsy, I guess, was not a very good child, and everyone on the Bayou knows that. And I think maybe even Ivory Rose Grows Wild said that too, but don't quote me on that. I'm getting word back that she was a problem child.
Between normal and weird.
Yeah, yeah. I have a hard time. I have a 15-year-old, and then I have 7 kids all the way down to the age of 1. And so I have a really hard time with the parents that call their children their best friends, because I feel like you have to be their parent first.
Right.
Yes, I have a huge problem with and be their friends, be their best friends, but also encourage them to have other friends out there that little girls and boys, they need kids their own age. I have friends that I've known since the 2nd grade. I've got 3 friends that I met in the 2nd grade, and then I've got a number of college friends. I don't really have any high school friends. High school that was the years that I was bullied. It was a really bad time for me. But we need friends outside of our parents. It's so important.
I think sometimes parents, and I've done it at times too, and that's why I speak from experience, is like the blurring.
I put that comment up there because main chick Carrie says she looks nothing like the pictures she puts out there, and I 100% agree with that. And I put out a post the other day that shows how different Gypsy Rose looks from the videos that she's actually putting out. I was, of course, called a hater, but when did you become a hater if you point out something that's wrong or different? And if you don't agree with me, why do I got to be a hater if I don't agree with you? I'm not going to call you a hater. You don't agree with me. We've taken disagreements to such a petty, stupid level, to the point where it's just ridiculous. But I put this up the other day, and I was accused of making fun of the way she looks. I am not doing it for the way she looks, because somebody obviously out there must think that she doesn't look attractive on the right. I'm not here to say if she looks attractive or not. The point is she looks nothing like the one on the left, and the one on the right is without a filter. It's how she looks, minus the nose thing. I don't make fun of the way Gypsy Rose looks over here, because I've said it before. I got made fun of. I don't pile on people things that it's just such low hanging fruit when she does so much more that we can glob onto. So I don't make, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I've been wanting to mention that I was accused, and it was even taken down. That was one of the videos that got taken down. They said I was bullying her. So maybe that video will pop up. What do you guys think? Will that pop up in her new docuseries? Am I going to be a Gypsy Rose bully? I think that it'd be so funny if I do become a Gypsy Rose bully, considering I'm one of the people who doesn't make fun of the way she looks.
Mouth, touch your mouth, nose.
Okay, going back over to where we were.
Line, and then having to take a step back and be like, okay, wait, I'm your parent first. Right. And it can be difficult.
You could be that person that they come to,
for sure,
and be that person to lean on.
Absolutely.
But to say best friend, like, no, you go to school,
right?
You make your own friends,
right?
But I'm here if you need me.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely clear lines that we have to set. But in the book, you talk about your baby bottles. And I don't think that I ever heard that in like the headlines or the shows or the documentaries. Is that something that is exclusive to this book?
It is. It's not something that I really tell everybody or talk about, because it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah.
So
Are you comfortable talking about it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the books.
Okay. Definitely go get a copy of this book, My Time to Stand. And so in the book, you talk about having a baby bottle, and up until the night of the crime, you were packing a baby bottle in your bag.
Right.
What was that about? Can you talk about it?
Well, my mom never weaned me off the baby bottle.
Like, we're talking a bottle with nipples.
Yes,
you talk
like
about
a
bringing
baby
change.
bottle.
Yes.
The teen mom, she's just like really having a problem with this. A baby bottle. A bottle with nipples. A bottle. A bottle? Nipples? Bottle? Oh, it's creepy. It's really creepy.
Yes. So, I was given formula through the feeding tube,
Mm-hmm.
but also my comfort. I never like took to a stuffed animal or a blankie or anything, but I loved the bottle.
Okay.
And so, like strawberry Pediasure was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom never said, "Oh, you're too old for that."
Okay.
She just let me continue on the bottle.
Sure.
To the point where I think that's why my teeth were buck teeth.
Wait a minute. Is she? Oh, she's just admitting to the buck teeth. But I mean, this could be another reason why her teeth freaking rotted out of her mouth. Oh, sorry, I yelled right into the mic. I'm so sorry, you guys. But
Teeth, my original teeth were bucked and just out of alignment.
Sure.
But even up until the night before the crime, I was still very much like that was my source of comfort, you know? So it's like I'm addicted to narcotics and I'm also sucking on a baby bottle to give me comfort.
That is so hard for me to wrap my head around. How do you feel about that when you think about it?
It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre now looking back on it.
But
But that was my normal.
right. So
I wonder if she is a thumb sucker now. One of my roommates in college, she was a thumb sucker at night. She would suck her thumb. And she had that same like her I don't know how to it's like, you know, the Simpsons, how they have that very big overbite. It causes that.
During that time, you didn't know any different.
No, like that was my normal.
What is people's reaction similar to mine, where it's just like you truly are addicted to narcotics and drinking out of baby bottle?
Yeah, it's two ends of a spectrum, and somehow I landed right between them.
And then the night of the crime happens, and then you couldn't take the baby bottle to prison,
right? No.
So what was that like? Was it sort of like a cold turkey cut off the bottle sort of deal?
Correct. Like I had taken the narcotics.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pack a baby bottle. I just kind of left my old life behind.
So that is a thing, bottle rat. Then you guys, that's another thing. I'm just like telling you my stories, but I was never able to have children. I did the whole thing, going to the doctor and stuff, IVF. But so I have a background. I've in all of the social work that I did. I always ran like the children's division or the children's room or the mother and children. So I have a background. I know about it, but I thought bottle rot was something, but yuck.
Entirely.
So in some ways that had to be liberating.
It was liberating, but also scary. It was new territory. Like for me, when I'm trying something new or I'm entering into a zone that I've never experienced before, I get a lot of anxiety about it.
Yeah. I mean, rightfully so. I feel like your entire life had to be built off of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine. So CPS comes just one time in
one time.
Your entire life.
Entire life.
I don't even have words because I've seen CPS get involved in situations for much, much less and either do something or don't. And so when you look back, I mean.
Okay, I am reading a lot of good comments. Amy Davey said in the book, she's asking why my teeth? She goes off on a tangent about how medical professionals took her teeth. She wants compensation for it. So, yeah. Compensation, or she just wants to feel sorry, us to feel sorry for her. She's just like really trying to play on people, and it probably will play on people that don't know the truth. Yeah, it probably will, but she's telling too much. She's doing too many lies. She's never going to be able to catch up. But the thing is does she even need to catch up? It just seems like people can lie now and it doesn't matter. Like people are still going to have a following. So pediatric dentists warn parents, don't let your baby fall asleep with a baby bottle, even with milk. There's sugar in milk. Yeah. It's crazy.
At the time, did it even cross your mind to tell CPS what was going on?
I didn't even know who they were. So I want to make it clear that when I grew up, like, okay, so most parents, to kind of discipline their children, they're like, oh, the boogeyman's going to get you.
Right.
Okay. So my mom never said the boogeyman. My mom said the state. So I grew up being afraid of people that I thought were bad people
Right.
that were going to take me away from her.
I'd be willing to bet that Gypsy Rose, some psychiatrist or psychologist told her this in one of her sessions, like explained it to her, like, oh, see, it was almost like most kids are afraid of the boogeyman, but you were afraid of the state. And Gypsy Rose was like, yeah. I've said this before. A little psychology is going to make Gypsy Rose a very dangerous Gypsy Rose.
And they were called the state. And so what I didn't know back then was she was telling me to be afraid of CPS. And I didn't know that then. It wasn't until after I got out of prison that I kind of figured it all out.
Right.
And so when they came, I didn't know who they were. I'm like, do they work with the police? And they're asking me questions like, do I have bruises on my arms and legs?
Right. And did you?
I didn't. I didn't at that point in time. I didn't. However, they weren't asking me the right questions.
Right.
And that is kind of like where I fell through. That's kind of like where I put a lot of like guilt on me. Is because I'm like, well, why didn't I just tell them this?
Well, you were a kid. You didn't know any different. And you were also told to be basically taught to be afraid of them.
Exactly. So I'm like, even though at this point I would have been a teenager.
Right.
But having the mindset of someone much younger because I was sheltered to be that way.
And also believed to be that.
Yes.
I think it was 4 years?
Yeah.
How old are you today?
I am 33.
33.
Yes.
And you would have thought that you were I guess 29, right? Like if this still
Correct.
continued.
It was always like every year of an advancement was like 2 years knocked back down.
Okay.
So it was progressive.
Right.
It wasn't, when I was 10, she would say I was 9. So it started with the 1 year and then 2 years, and then it just progressed to more years as I got older.
Because it's easier to kind of hide the years as you get older, right? Like you could pass for 29, sitting in front of me today. And so that makes sense. I can't understand how, when you were talking about in the book, you were talking about the medical records and, the name spellings were off and then the dates of birth were changed and those all sort of slipped through the cracks too.
And it's really shocking to me because even in certain medical records, there is descriptions of certain illnesses. So my mother described me as paralyzed from the waist down. But in certain transcripts, there is quadriplegic, paraplegic. So it is. I'm like, there's
CPS has a way to interview children that they don't know that they're being interviewed. So, yeah, I don't believe the CPS thing at all.
difference in the.
Anyway, somebody just said that CPS came when she was an adult, so there was nothing they could do.
Too. So if you're a doctor, my eyes would be looking at that and automatically want to correct what's wrong. So it's like the medical records are basically scattered to the wind in inaccuracy, and it's so hard to piece together any sort of sense.
Well, she's going doctor to doctor.
Doctor to doctor.
Maybe some of the files are not going with her, right?
Correct. She did not transfer them to one hospital to another.
Right.
So when the new doctor would ask for old records, she would claim that they were all, washed away in Hurricane Katrina, because back in 2005, there was still that trend.
Me too, Yellow Butterfly. I would interview her only on I would have to know what was off the table and then decide from that, like what if I can't ask questions, but at least she's getting some questions out there that she's answering. I mean, she's covering the baby bottle. I mean, she's talking about the substance abuse. She talked about the chromosome. she's had time to think about it and to spin it and, to get the story straight. I saw Kaylin was interviewed on Trisha Paytas recently, and I don't know if you guys remember me talking about Trisha, but I always say, like, if Gypsy's going to be able to turn this into an influencer type situation, she needs to take a page from Trisha Paytas, because Trisha Paytas didn't commit murder, but she very problematic, was pretty much to the point where she was almost being run off the internet, got pregnant, has her own show now, and just did Saturday Night Live. So, I mean, she needs, I'm sure whoever is directing Gypsy Rose on her influencer journey is taking a page from Trisha Paytas's book, because and it's so interesting that Kaylin was just on Trisha's channel. So will we be seeing Gypsy Rose on the Trisha Paytas show, who just went on Saturday Night Live? What do you guys think?
Transfer from hard copy
Yep.
records to computer digital.
Even now, I think that they
So-
still struggle with that,
Yeah.
right? Like, I moved from Pennsylvania to Delaware, and my doctors were asking for records, and I was like, I don't have those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's sort of easy to
Yeah,
lose the paper
lose 'em.
trail. So your mom would drug herself to sleep sometimes,
She's
whether
prescribed Ambien.
right. So not abusing it necessarily.
He was all over the internet. When one of my favorite things to do last Live Miss was we went through all of Gypsy's old Facebook, all of her, well, the ones that we could find that were her hidden ones, the ones that she had the joint one with Dee Dee, the one that she had with Nick. I mean, Gypsy Rose is a internet troll. I mean, she knows her way around the internet.
They're not abusing it.
When she would go to sleep, I know that in parts of the book you talked about still being in your wheelchair, but were there ever times that you did get out of your wheelchair and walk while she was asleep?
There would be times. So, like, if she had to go run an errand, there was times as I got older,
Right.
that I did want to stretch my legs and get out of the wheelchair. And so, some of the most freeing times that I had was I would play CDs on the boombox and just dance.
Yeah.
That was my freedom.
I
Did she
remember hearing one of the ladies that helped with the house said that, they were instructing Gypsy not to you shouldn't put carpet in the house because the wheelchairs don't run well on the carpet. And Gypsy threw a fit. And so the house was half carpeted. I mean, no, I don't think Gypsy was riding around in her wheelchair. I think Dee Dee was riding around in the wheelchair, to be honest with you.
Know that you were doing that?
She didn't. She did not, because I would be in trouble for walking even inside the house.
Oh, wow. So then did you lose muscle mass in your legs because you were in the wheelchair so much, or no?
I didn't lose muscle mass. No, because I still, like, every once in a while I would move my legs here and there, not meaning to, but she would have to correct me and be like, stop moving your legs.
At what point did you realize that you were not actually needing the wheelchair? Like, how old do you think you were?
I mean, I always knew that I could walk, and I've always been honest about that, but it was, and goes right into the title. This is why I wanted to have the word stand in the title, is because, yes, I knew that I could walk. However, my mom didn't let me get out of the chair. So it was like I was forced to be in the chair.
That is so wild. I can't imagine. And it has to be, obviously don't want to speak ill of the dead, right? But like that has to be mental illness. As a mom, I can't imagine, doing these things to my own child, let alone any child. But
it's just the whole fact that Dee Dee was trying to carry this lie forward for free stuff that other kids could have. I mean, it's not just Gypsy who was doing it. It was an adult at one point leading the charge. So I do have anger towards Dee Dee, but I can also come on here and show you the beauty in Dee Dee. I just think we're just creatures on this planet learning and growing, and we're not all one thing. I mean, I don't even think Gypsy is all bad. I know some of you can't even say that, but I can say it. I mean, even the other day I was on here. No, we're not all bad. Gypsy has this playful spirit about her that if she wasn't a crazy psycho, I like that about people. And when you get with a friend that has that same playful spirit, such fun things can happen. So I don't think we're all bad. And we're not all good either. Like, we can all have that little streak of, like, we're all here learning and growing. But I just feel like she's anchoring her lies in some truth here.
Has to be something deeper there, and I wish that we had more answers.
It is sick too, but see, the thing is that I think I think Gypsy needed that wheelchair for her chromosome weakness, and then they found that it helps them get free stuff, and so she kept her in the wheelchair. But if you were an adult, reasonable mother, you wouldn't do that to your child. You would say, no, that's illegal. That is wrong, right? So here we have a lie anchored in truth.
As far as that goes.
Absolutely. That's where I feel like, maybe in a sense the system failed her.
Yeah.
And
it's
the
okay.
way we grew up. And
you guys, I've got the poly glass. I wear the rose colored glasses. I have to do it. I have to find some goodness in things, because if I don't, I will get so sad and depressed that it'll make me want to, not, it just make me very unhappy. And so I have found that the way I can deal with things is trying to find the lightness and the light in things. Like, bad situations happening, well, at least this is, at least this and this came from it, or, just trying to find the lesson in things and learning and growing. And also, my whole life, I've been told I'm too sensitive. I'm too this, I'm too that. And I've just decided I'm going to lean into it. I'm going to be how I want to be. If I'm allowing others to be how they want to be, then I'm just going to do the same for myself. And I think that my life has gotten a lot better for it.
In Louisiana, particularly in my family, we don't talk about mental health.
Right.
Growing up in the 90s, it wasn't really talked about.
Right.
You're either labeled weird or just different,
crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like, those are the terms that you grew up with in the 90s.
Right.
And sadly, she would have needed therapy. She would have needed medication. But she didn't get those things.
Right. Right. She couldn't have, because nobody was willing to. It's always, you're crazy. And I think that raising awareness about it now is also, we talk about mental health all the time, right? Like in where we are today in life, I feel like we talk about it all the time. And if they had that, it might be different.
Exactly.
But, who's to say? So you meet Dan. And you still drank from a bottle at this time, and you pack the bottle to go to Dan's house. Did he already know this?
He didn't know. I didn't tell him a lot. I didn't tell him I had a feeding tube. I didn't tell him about necessarily how weird my life was and how different it was. There was certain things that came up in conversations, like I could walk. And obviously, because I ran away that night.
Yeah.
But he was oblivious to a lot of what was going on.
And Dan was an adult that you met at a convention.
We are going to be covering the whole Dan topic in depth, not this Sunday, but next. There's another content creator that's going to be joining us, Trixie, and she has the inside scoop to Dan. So we're going to be getting to the bottom of Dan.
Correct.
And you guys had a romantic interest in each other?
I had a crush on him.
Right.
And I think he thought that I was cute, but it wasn't to the point where it was a relationship.
Okay. But you guys maybe had a little bit of an interest, a fling.
I was like, he's cute.
How old is he? How old was he?
He was 36.
And he thought you were how old?
15 at the time.
So that would be a pedophile, right?
I don't like saying that word. I don't like labeling someone anything.
She doesn't like saying it, but yet she's sitting here saying it. You're saying it. You're saying it. You're inferring it, and you're smiling about it. And I don't believe you either about this.
I don't like
Okay.
labels put on me, so that's why I don't put labels on
Okay.
other people.
Fair.
That's all I'm
Okay. But it's questionable. It's definitely questionable behavior. So your mom threatened to, or she did actually like out him
I
as
don't like that laugh that she does when she goes. Ugh, it's like when she thinks somebody's agreeing with her and she's like finally hit on something.
someone who liked children.
Correct. So once my mom brought me back home after running away and catching me with Dan, that's whenever she started to like call the people that like knew about it in a very vague way.
Okay.
And so she claimed that Dan kidnapped me, that he took me to somewhere, and that like I was safe, I was found. All the while I was chained to a bed at this time. So she's
Because you ran to Dan's.
because I ran to Dan's.
And have you had communications with Dan since?
No.
Never. He's never reached out to make sure you were good and okay.
No, we had a text exchange
Mhm.
like
I think there was an argument that night. I don't believe that she was chained to her bed for days and days and days. I think maybe that night she threatened to chain her or something like that. And so like lies anchored in truth, truth anchored in lies. I something happened. Either that, yes, I don't know. With this one, it's hard to know if it really happened or not.
the day that I got arrested. And he had texted me and he's like, everybody says you're missing. Are you okay?
That was the text.
That was the text. And I never had any communication since.
Wow. Because he was scared. He was on parole, right? You found out that you were house arrest?
It wasn't house arrest. I think I found out that it was like probation.
Okay. And then
probation and parole.
he would have gotten in trouble probably for talking to you at that point.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Was this to Dan's where you ask the neighbor, or is this the second time that you run away, that you get to the neighborhood and you knock on somebody random's door?
That was the first time. So,
So-
that was with Dan. Yeah.
Okay.
That was,
So he's in the hospital. Okay. So you just knock on some random person's door?
I did. So it was the housing community that was right on the side of the Habitat for Humanity
Just
community.
the ease that she says it with. There's no hesitation. There's no wobble in her voice. I mean, I just don't believe that she was afraid of her mother.
Okay.
So it was literally up the street.
Okay.
And I knock on the first person's door that I see.
And you're like, my
I'm like, I called him my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I was like, my boyfriend is in the hospital. Can I get a ride?
They didn't know who you were?
They didn't know who I was, but I wore a long blonde wig. I still remember what I was wearing. I had a long blonde wig. I had a oversized, like too big of a red bra. It was like 2 sizes too big. A black tank top, jeans that were too big, and a Harry Potter hoodie.
Did they think you were on drugs?
I probably looked like I was.
What did they say to you?
They're like, okay. I mean, it was a nice man. It was probably like 2:00 in the morning, and he gave me the ride. But
He took you?
yes.
And then you get to the hospital and you're like, hey, Dan, what's up?
Yeah.
And y'all just hung
But-
out in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, he was released within 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And so his cousin was there with him. And
Right.
so his cousin had drove us back to the friend's house that he was staying at.
Okay. And they also didn't know who you were, like what
They
your
were
story was.
asleep when
Okay.
we got there. It wasn't until the morning where the man, the husband, comes in the room and asks me my name.
Mhm.
And stupid as all I can be, I'm like, Gypsy, I'm Dan's girlfriend.
Oh
I'm
my God.
so stupid.
Yeah. And then he's like, your mom's here.
Yeah, an hour later, your mom's here.
And you were convinced that she was going to let you continue to have a
She
friendship with Dan.
She did. She's like, if you come back with me, I'll let you have a friendship with him. I'll let you see him. I'll let you talk to him. Just come back with me. And I believed her. And I went back with her.
The person that we're going to interview, I think, has the background scoop on this entire story. I would like to know more about this.
And then at that point, that's before the shed incident.
Correct.
Okay. So the second attempt to escape was in 2012.
Mhm.
And what was the mindset at this time? You're like, I already had a failed escape. You go back home with your mom. She tells you you can have Dan as a friend, but you were like, no, I need to escape still. Because she changed you to the bed
That was
between incidents.
yes. So I mean, that was definitely like a cracking point. Is that I never submitted, I guess you can say, fully to the idea that this was going to be my life.
So did that first attempt give you almost like a hope that you're like, okay, I didn't do this right the first time. I could do it the second time.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I make certain differences. So, I pack a bag in the middle of the night. I'm going to attempt to and see where I was gonna be homeless. I didn't care what I had to do. I was just gonna go.
But that one failed as well.
It failed as well. She found my backpack, and that's whenever there was a standoff, and that's whenever I shot her with the BB gun.
Okay. So that
okay. I didn't know that she was trying to run away again when she shot her with the BB gun. Did you guys know that?
is actually the next question I have is why did your mom have the BB gun to begin with? Why did she buy that from Walmart?
So she had bought that because she had told me it was to keep Dan away. So
did you think it was a real gun?
No, I knew it was a BB gun.
Okay.
Which in certain documentaries and transcripts and stuff like that, some people are like, oh well, she didn't know it was a BB gun. No, I knew it was a BB gun.
Okay. So you didn't think it was going to kill her? Or anything?
No.
Okay. And when you shot her with it, it was to scare her, or did you think it would kill her?
Oh no, it was just a scare.
Okay. Did you get out of the wheelchair to shoot her with the BB gun?
I didn't. I stayed in the wheelchair the whole time.
What is the state of the frame of mind for that? Like, I guess
have no idea. It's when you are in a state of being so afraid,
right.
Logic goes out the window.
Right.
So I may have.
Okay. So
hey guys, I hope you're having a beautiful.
That was part 2. Hold on, I got to cough really quick. So I was over looking to see if I had gotten any word about the bookstore signing protest, and I haven't gotten anything back yet. But if I do, I will be sure to come live. So just keep an eye out. And if I can find somebody that wants to be there and come live with us, we'll do that. If not, tomorrow I will have an interview with somebody who was actually there. That's set up for tomorrow. I think we're doing it at noon. But that's tentatively. Let me see if you guys are saying anything. Oof. Don't forget New Year's Eve. We're going live for 24 hours from New Year's Eve noon to New Year's Day noon. And we will be covering everything Gypsy Rose, including the book. So yeah. And if you have any suggestions or any stories on the Gypsy Rose that you want us to make sure we cover in particular, just email us at parawomanradio@gmail.com. Okay. Oops. Let me see. The Petries are protecting their elderly father with dementia from this creature, but as soon as he passes away, I think they are going to sue for her wrongful death. And if they do, everything gets shown. Yeah, well, I hope so. We did cover an interview that one of the sister's friends did. And she said that the grandfather is really sick. And they're just like basically what you just said, that they're just waiting. So, because I was like, if somebody accused me, because she talks more about the ex abuse in the book. If someone accused me of that, I've said this before, but you would, I would haunt you for the rest of your life, and then into the next life and the next life to have even said that about me, but because I feel that that's the worst thing you can do. I even think it's worse than schmurder. I think child sex abuse is worse than schmurder. There, I said it. So it's out there. It's how I feel. So yeah. Oh, good. Please do pop in and say happy. So you're from Scotland? I just found out that I have two of my grandparents are from Scotland. Yeah, he wasn't that into her. She was a hit it and quit it. Well, He was her first triangle. Dan was. Dan and Nick. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you so much, Heavenly and Chris C, for being here. Thank you for moderating, I should say. Thank you all for being here. It's really, really appreciated if you give this live a thumbs up. We're coming to you on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Also, if you shared our content out there, that helps us out tremendously. Oh, you were born in Scotland, but are in New South Wales? Hey, Hollywood. We're just about to wrap things up, but we might be back a second time. I'm not sure. Hopefully we get that interview, but if not, we have it tomorrow with somebody who is there. But if not, I will definitely probably be seeing you guys around the interwebs tonight because, I got to follow it too. I got to know what's going on, even if we can't get the interview. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. If nobody's told you this today, and even if they have, I'm still going to tell you this. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Para Women Radio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Carefully strumming this old guitar again, words rolling out